like I'm more than willing to help people. I'm actually an approachable guy. I'm a nice guy, I think, but I'm not gonna give away my stuff. Like that's not cool. Like, but I'm more than willing to help you out, like Kyle said and like Justin said. And I think that's the stance that everybody that like gets looked up to in a sense should take, because you're not helping them. You're not actually doing anybody a favor. You're just kind of like brushing them away by giving them your list. You're telling them, oh yeah, here's copy paste, here, enjoy it, peace, later. But if you actually like took your time and like get 5 minutes just to explain your list and be like, or explain your deck idea and just be like, yeah, this is the matchup. This is the way the matchup goes. Have fun, dude. Good luck. That that goes a long way. That actually makes these guys better. And if we could all do that, then I mean, Pokemon would be a better game.
Yep. If anyone asked Krim for his list today, he would get so happy.
Like the good old days. Yes. No communications. Just for fighting.
Yeah, do you want the legitimate Nationals list or the post round 3 list?
I just wanted to go back to something. Like, you know, I just want everybody to know out there, like, it's like part of being a good player is not only playtesting, but you have to have a solid playtesting group. You know, you have to have people who aren't just going to BS all the time. You need people who are actually at least a little bit dedicated to the game. Like, I used to playtest with people like Sina Gaziaskar. He is not dedicated, by the way. Not dedicated. But people that used to be dedicated, like Omar Izaguirre, a lot of the Floridian people that I used to
Cool.
You know? Good, I think they're pretty good players. I know Omar's a great player. Sina may be a bit of a douche, but he's a good player. That Georgia, my people back here, great players. But yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, you know, just like have fun, but also like you can't be playing at league all the time. You can't be playing at starter decks if you want to win. Like eventually it takes a real amount of playtesting time, and you know, because like. Previous to nationals, I had actually play tested for regionals, and I came up with a new concept for a format that was apparently all Luxtomp, which is Smeargle. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it ran 3 Smeargle and 2 Sableye instead of 4 Sableye.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about it.
So yeah, I got 4th regionals with that, and I tracked my top 16. So it was a pretty good deck. But like, I mean, just my advice really is just play what you feel comfortable with, but you know, just really, really concentrate if you want to win, and you'll do well, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have more fun than you usually do.
I agree. I mean,
sorry, no one do it again.
I was just gonna say, like I didn't start getting better at the game until I started playing Apprentice with like all the good players. You don't get better until you just start playing against other people that are good. I mean, if I never met Prim and beat him with my 2 Strength Charm decks, then I probably wouldn't be where I am today. But yeah, I mean, I think Pokemon is something like you have to learn like the mechanics of the game and how it works first, and that takes the most time. Like that just takes a lot of time and practice to understand how the game works. And then from there, once you understand like how the game works, you don't need as much practice. I think you see a lot of people get kind of lazy nowadays. But that's just how it is. I mean, but definitely if you're trying to improve, you need a good solid base of people to test with.
Yeah, it always helps though if they're like, they don't have to be like way better than you, but if they're like a little better than you, then you actually like bring yourself up to their level too. So looking for people to practice, try to play people who are like a little bit better, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't get good until I started playing Matt Moss on Apprentice like every day. So he's so good back in the day.
Yeah, I had like the Brookses back in the day too. Brookses and
Brookses,
yeah, they were really good. If you don't know about them, they were like they dominated SCSs. Like, so yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't play test with Kyle for Worlds though. Don't do it.
He'll come out with Rotoms.
You can play test with me, but just don't use the deck I'm using. You're guaranteed to fail if you use the same deck as me.
I know.
Yeah. Drew knows firsthand.
Anything else you want to talk about, Kyle?
I think that's everything we got. I mean, I guess we'll just move on to viewer questions now.
Cool.
Sound good, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! I got blown my nose really bad, so hurry up.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions, just bring them up in the chat or ask us on Facebook or Twitter, and we'll ask some questions for you. Let's see, we got a few already. From Lucas Gintz. How do you think babies truly affected the format, and did decks like Mew and the Mucklock, Stage 1, or others that don't use babies have a large advantage going into Worlds? He said he played Mew and that 2 of his losses were to having a baby sitting while they had Yanmega. So I guess the overall question is, how do you think babies affect the format?
I think babies are going to go down playability after people realize it's just such huge on database, and the fact that Manaphy, in my opinion, is just like the safer play. I mean, honestly, like after playing Cleffa myself, like I can't see myself playing it again. Honestly, it's too risky. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same agreement. Well, babies affected the format, obviously. They made cards like Tyrogue really good. Like, Tyrogue is not a good card. Well, it's like decent, but it's not a good card unless there's lots of babies in the format, or in the meta game. So if people start transitioning out of baby Pokemon, then Tyrogue is going to become not that good. So yeah, babies affected it, but I think if they printed out Catcher and not held it back, babies wouldn't have even seen play because it just would have been too easy to get past them.
So you think that without Catcher, with Catcher, the babies are just going to disappear?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, you'll see like some decks around a couple, maybe. I mean, there might be like a good baby that just kind of rolls with it, with that certain deck. But the big plus side is I have a 50% with a baby. I have a 50% chance to not get knocked out. That's huge. So I can basically just sit there setting up or getting damage in or whatever, and half the time you can't do anything about it unless you flip has on reversal. Whereas if it was just a 100% chance with Catcher, it just bypasses that altogether, and babies is just like, oh, I'm not actually doing anything productive.
Yeah, obviously babies make an impact. See the finals, there was this Tyrogue flip-off, or flip-past one dash goals. So
yeah,
there's definitely an impact there. I think people are starting to realize the risk associated with the babies. You got the FTKs, and with everyone playing on Mega, it's just going to be a hanging prize eventually during the game. Regardless of if you stall, it's still going to be a prize eventually. So at Worlds, I think we'll see a lot more Manaphy. It can't get sniped on the bench in one hit. It's definitely an inferior card, but I think it'll definitely start replacing all those Cleffas. And when that starts replacing Cleffas, Tyrogue will work their way out of decks too, and we'll have a lot better formats.
Yay.
That'd be cool. Yeah, like I said, me and Kyle use Manaphy instead of Cleffa, so the card sucks compared to Cleffa, but at least you don't get first turned a lot, so it's kind of like a trade-off that we had to make, and I'm sure that a lot of other people are going to make it too. But, I mean, Tyrogue is bad for the format, obviously, but it's not like a bad card, you know? I mean, the card is still going to be fine even after the babies rotate out, because you can still, like, double plus power for knockouts or whatever, but it'll probably be used less, I'm sure about that. But Worlds is going to be cool, because I think that there is going to be a lot less first turn KOs.
I wouldn't call Tyrogue bad for the format. It's just like it what keeps babies in check. It's like otherwise someone just goes, I'm just going to run like 4 Cleffas and set up. Yeah, so
the baby bully.
So that stops people from going like 4 Cleffa. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I agree that we're probably going to see less babies at Worlds than we did at Nationals. Nationals was like the first big tournament we had, and it was kind of like a feeling out process. And I think I would say like almost every deck played Tyrogue at Nationals, like just to have that one option. And I think as a result, you're gonna see people be more and more scared about running Cleffa, and maybe even cut it completely, and then from there maybe even cut Tyrogue completely. So starting with lone Tyrogue is just as bad as lone Cleffa. And yeah, I think we'll see maybe no support Pokemon or the inferior versions like Manaphy, or maybe just something silly like a Jinx.
What's funny is I was actually talking to my friends about that. I was like, hey, I really like the Pokemon Jinx, guys.
Yeah,
I don't even know what Jinx does.
And
we had one of our decks.
It's the worst Chatot.
All I know is it's some HP and there's Mimic.
Yeah.
One retreat.
I think so.
One retreat would suck.
But it's not Lick. It's not Lick.
Oh yeah,
It does have Lick. Alright, so we have another question from the one and only John Kettler. Says, question to the Top Cut staff at large. I guess this will go to Justin too. How would you feel about Play Pokemon's coverage of U.S. Nationals as a whole?
Does that mean, are they talking about like the little coverage that they did like with that dude like announcing your guys' names?
Just
Is that what he means?
Oh.
I mean, they did alright. They did better than last year. I'm just gonna assume that that's got something to do with like the pressure that people put on them to like actually do coverage. So hats off to them. Whatever they do, good for them, you know, and good for us as a community. If they can just keep doing that and better, then I mean we can't ask for more.
I didn't really think there was any coverage.
Yeah, I'm trying to like figure out other than like the little ceremony like before the finals, and then from then on, I'm trying to like figure out what coverage you're talking about.
Did they do interviews? I could have sworn they did.
They did afterwards.
They interviewed me, but that's about it.
It was all after the fact.
Well, I'm just wondering if they met the stage then, and like the stage alone was actually like a step.
I mean, like the finals onward was really cool, but anything before that, I'm having a hard time remembering if there was any.
No.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I didn't see any coverage really before top 2, but I will admit I'm gonna give props to that guy who kept saying Justin plays Pokemon Reversal. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like that's cool stuff. Yeah, I thought the finals was really well done. It's just, you know, everything before that was kind of lackluster, I think.
Yeah, before the finals, they had like a 3-table buffer around the wing area. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
You need like binoculars to see the game.
Like 30 feet away, I had the camera all the way up and zoom all the way in, and all I could see was Kyle's face. Yeah.
But still, it's a step up, so that's what really counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a step in the right direction, but it was a very small step, I think. Like I thought it was really, really cool that they actually had that stage and they actually let people watch for once, and they even had the announcer. But at the same time, I don't think any of that was actually recorded, so you can't go back and watch that. So unless you were there, you didn't get to see it, which is kind of the whole point of coverage. You want other people to see it. And just still, people really couldn't see the finals. I mean, unless you had like a front row seat.
Seriously.
Everybody else was just like zoomed in from like 40 feet away. So, yeah, I mean,